Hello everyone, I am Velasco Angelo together with Melody Villares and Micah Bertudazo, and today we're going to discuss about the chapter 13, Development of Large-Scale Students Assessment Test. When we talk about large-scale assessment, it is a test or other data collection procedures administered to large numbers of students at the same time. This assessment test often used to measure the student's achievement for educational accountability, where system or individuals are held responsible for students' performance. Review of classroom test development process. Within the context of summative assessment in the classroom, the suggested phases of work in the developing test generally consist of the following procedural steps to ensure the basic validity requirements. Here's the planning. Planning the test which specifies. There are three. 1. Purpose of test. The purpose of test is to assess the performance of the student. Second, test helps in assigning grades to the students as their performances. And third, through testing, teachers predict the performance of the students in the future. Second, learning outcomes. Learning outcomes must capture the key abilities or knowledge that you hope that your students acquire through conducting a test. Third, the blueprint test formal number of items. This blueprint, the purpose is to make sure that a test will make sure the representative sample. Thus, this involves the following. First, preparing a list of instructional objectives. This is limited to the outcome can be measured by a classroom test if does not include performance, skills, or effective domain. Second, outlining the instructional content. And third, preparing a two-way chart that relates the instructional content. Item construction, which is performed by a classroom teacher following a table specification. Review and revision for item improvement. Judgmental approach before and after administration test by the teacher or peers to ensure the accuracy and enlightenment of test content to learning outcomes. By the student to ensure comprehensibility of items in test instructions. Empirical approaches after administration of test obtain item statistics in the form of quality indices.
Moving on to our next topic, the development process for the large-scale assessment test. What test did a framework for specifying the test purposes? What are to be measured and whom the test will be administered, the length of test, what test format to use, and etc. A table of specification or a test blueprint is needed to prepare the two assessments that specify the content, knowledge, and skills to be covered and the number of items to prepare for each learning outcomes. To ensure the item measured intended outcome, the possibility of the destructions of ambiguity of the problem and the correctness of gates option, there is a need to review both test items. Let's proceed the key step of large-scale test development. Step 1, defining objectives. Step 2, item development committee. Step 3, writing and reviewing questions. Step 4, the pre-test. Step 5, detecting and removing unfair questions. Step 6, assembling the test. So, step 1, defining objectives. In defining the objectives, educator, license boards, or professional association identify a need and measure certain skills or knowledge once a decision is made to develop a test to accommodate this need. Developers ask some fundamental questions, so there are the questions that needs to be answered in defining the objectives. Number one, who will take the test and for what purpose? Number two, what skills and or areas of knowledge should be tested? Number three, what how should test taker be able to use their knowledge? 4. What kind of questions should be included? How many of each kind? 5. How long should be test be? Last, how difficult should the test be? Again, in defining the objectives, it should answer the questions. Step 2. Item Development Committees. The answer of the question in Step 1 are usually complete with the help of item development committees, which typically consist of educators and other professionals appointed by its will the guidance of the sponsoring agency or associations. Responsibility of this item development committees may include defining test objectives and specifications, helping ensuring test questions are unbiased. Third, determine test format considering complementary test materials. In determining test format, it's determined whether the item is multiple choice or essay or a constructed response. 4. Reviewing test question of test item. Last, writing test questions. Step 3. Writing and reviewing questions. Each test question written by ATC staff or item development committees undergoes numerous revisions to ensure it's as clear as possible, that it has only one correct answer among the options provided on the test, and that it conforms to the style rules used throughout the test. Screen guidance for open-ended response such as a short written answers, essay, and oral response go through similar reviews now.
Hey everyone, this is Mike Verdazo, and here is the continuation of report of Mr. Velasco and Ms. Villares. So we are now in step 4, the pretest. After the questions have been written and reviewed, many are pretested with a sample group similar to the population to be tested. The results enable test developers to determine the difficulty of each question, if questions are ambiguous or misleading, if questions should be revised or eliminated, if incorrect alternative answers should be revised or replaced. So, pretests are non-graded assessment tool used to determine pre-existing subject knowledge. Typically, pretests are administered prior to a course to determine knowledge baseline. But here they are used to test students prior to topical material coverage throughout the course. Step 5. Detecting and removing unfair questions. Fundamental questions that need to be addressed. Is there any test question which have language, symbols, and phrases inappropriate or offensive to any subgroups than other groups? What item further need revision or removal before final version is made? So in step 5, to meet the guidelines, trained reviewers must carefully inspect each individual test question, the test as a whole, and any descriptive or preparatory materials to ensure that language, symbols, words, phrases, and content generally regarded as sexist, racist, or otherwise inappropriate or offensive to any subgroup of the test-taking population are eliminated. Step 6. Assembling the test. Is the test valid? Are the score interpretations supported by empirical evidence? Is the test reliable? Can the performance on one version of the test predict performance or any other version of the test? What corrective actions need to be done when there are problems detected before final scoring is done? So, in assembling the test assembling means recording test items, review test items, and arrange items in a test. The items should be arranged according to types, should be arranged in order of difficulty, and items of the same subject matter content may be grouped together. After the test is assembled, it is reviewed by other specialists, committee members, and sometimes other outside experts. Each reviewer answers all questions independently and submits a list of correct answers to the test developers. The lists are compared with the ETS answer case to verify that the intended answer is indeed the correct answer. Any discrepancies are resolved before the test is published. Establishing a validity of the test. Validity is regarded as the basic requirement of every test because it deals with the degree to which it measures what it claims to measure. Content validity refers to how the test covers a representative sample of the behavior domain to be measured for educational tests. Criterion validity. This refers to the extent to which a test score is related to some measure of job performance. So, under this, there are two kinds of validity. The concurrent validity and predictive validity. So, concurrent validity is operationalization's ability to distinguish between groups which theoretically should be different. Example for this is fatness tests for athletes and non-athletes. The predictive validity. Operationalization's ability to predict something it should theoretically be able to predict. Example, grad school performance. 4. Construct validity involves empirical examinations of the psychological construct hypothetically assumed to measured by the test. So, construct validity this refers to whether a scale or test measures the construct adequately. An example is a measurement of the human brain, such as intelligence, level of emotion, proficiency, or ability. So that's all. Thank you.